right, the audio wizards may have fixed it, may have not. We're testing it right now. Once again, brand new chat. Glad to see you guys are all having a chat party over there. It's blowing up. Let's welcome our YouTubers and see if they can hear me now. We got Optic Midnight, Chaos Silencer, and Cross. Jimmy, by the look on your face, you cannot hear me.
I hear you now.
I can at the moment, but
now.
If I stop, if I just hold my hands right here and talk gently, you can hear me.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
We're going to conduct this interview frozen. So let's start this off, guys. You had an opportunity to go over to Sledgehammer, play Advanced Warfare, and bring home some gameplay. First off, how did this come about? Optic Midnight, walk me through the whole process. What did you guys do out there in San Francisco?
Well, I was invited to like a press reveal style event. It's basically a little bit, I guess, pretty similar event to what you guys saw yesterday during the reveal. And obviously when I got the invite, I was like, yes, I want to do that. So we went out there, they showed us the whole nine, and I was sitting front row with Chaos and then Cross, and I was mouth open the whole time, like, what is going on?
And we just watched.
Yeah. And then we had an opportunity to play. We played for about 2 or 3 hours. I played probably solid 15 games and really got a good feel for the game and the gameplay and all the new mechanics, because it's definitely a new game.
So before we get down to the details, Jimmy, first talk to me about this. I know you've been doing YouTube for Call of Duty for several years now. What was this experience like for you, and what was it like interacting with Sledgehammer?
This was I've done press and media stuff in the past, but never to the level of we actually got to like get involved and like Midnight was saying, we not only the media event that we went to, we got the gameplay, but then we got to have a private tour of Sledgehammer and mingle with the developers and pick their brains, and it was on a personal level, and I haven't got to do that up to this point, so it was an honor. It was humbling to be able to go along for that experience and actually get to see what goes into making a Call of Duty, which will just blow your mind. Nobody has any clue what actually goes into the labor of love that these people go through to make this game, and it was awesome.
Man, such great guys there over at Sledgehammer. And Cross, you are one of the best snipers on YouTube that we've seen. But a lot of people in esports, a lot of people in the esports world might not know exactly who you are or your experience. What have you done with Call of Duty? I know you're definitely one of the top snipers I've seen on YouTube so far.
For the most part, I've just started out sniping. That was my intention, to make montages, and then it grew from there into commentaries, videos on just Call of Duty in general. I was in FaZe for 2 years and then decided to leave and just grow my channel the way I can on myself, and it's just been an uphill.
Well, you guys all have serious followings on YouTube, so definitely earned your spot there at the press event. So let's kick things off and go right into the questions for Advanced Warfare. Initial impressions.
Can you guys hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. Whatever you're doing right now, just keep doing that.
It's the hands. Initial impressions. Let's start with you, Midnight. What did you think of the movement?
Wow, man, it's different than any Call of Duty that I've ever played before. The very first couple games, like I told you, I played about 15 games. First 2 or 3 games, I was like, oh my God, I suck. Oh no, what happened, you know? And so I got some guns that I was comfortable with, submachine guns, stuff like that, started playing more, and I really got a good feel for how the mechanics work, the double jump, the strafing, kind of, because you strafe with the thumbstick, you actually press the sprint button down in the direction you want to go, and your character will thrust that way. So that was really awesome to finally get a hold of. Having to win the gunfights while you're in midair is something that we have not really experienced, especially in Call of Duty. People keep comparing the game to Titanfall. When you're jumping in Titanfall, you're kind of floaty. You don't really feel like, oh my God, I'm falling back to earth. That's what you feel like in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. You jump up and gravity has you almost right away, and you're already going back to the ground, and you kind of have to decide on your next move once you're up in the air. And it's really good. I really enjoyed it, and I really got the hang of it pretty quick after a few games.
Awesome. Jimmy, I wanted to ask you, first of all, how do you normally play? Are you AR, submachine gun, sniper when you go into pubs? And how long did it get you to kind of get acclimated with the new movement now in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare?
I would say from a list of 1 to 4, it would be AR, SMG, shotgun, sniper. Sniper's at the bottom of it. That's why I still cross play. But the first match, you're like a lost little puppy. You have no clue how to, because it's not just boost jumping or strafing. There's levels to it. There's like beginner, beginner controls, and then there's also advanced movements that you can do with this thing to actually really maneuver around the map. So the first game was just running around, jumping around, just woohoo, look at me, and trying to get some kills. And then after that match was over, once I had my legs under me a little bit, then I tried to focus on checking the guns and getting gameplay and stuff like that.
Cross, from a sniper's perspective, this must have been totally new, something out of the box. Now you have to deal with vertical opponents, not just people kind of walking on one single plane. What was it like for you in your first 5 games, and how long did it take you to get really used to the new controls?
The first couple games were kind of like a nightmare. Like I still went positive or barely positive, like a 1.1 KD or something like that. My first game was absolutely like grinding. I was like 9-9. It was something that I want to mention. But after the night, I was doing all right. I pulled one of my last game plays. I didn't actually capture it because of a capture failure, but I went like 35-10 with sniping, and it was no problem getting like 5 kills with it. You just had to get used to it. And one of the things I know people are going to complain about, but the build that we played, from my understanding, didn't have aim assist on any weapon whatsoever. Snipe well as regular weapons, but I know once we get the full version, it'll be a little bit different. But for only having 2 hours, 3 hours of game time, I think you can progress pretty well with the sniper and actually be somewhat aggressive and figure out how to play.
Well, after watching your YouTube videos, it didn't look like you struggled at all without aim assist. So very nice job there with the sniper rifle. Side question before we move on. How many katanas do you own?
What was that?
How many katanas do you own? I see swords in the background.
How many swords? I have like 4 back there. I don't know. They're kind of old. I used to collect them when I was in high school or like middle school. I had this obsession with swords.
That's got to be a surprise for any girlfriend who comes over and sees that bedroom.
As long as they don't fall on anyone, it's cool. Now I have guns, so it's a little bit.
He's fully loaded, protected. Do not invade. Cross's house.
Yeah, don't swap me, bro.
Let's keep this one going.
Cool.
Let's go into the game modes, guys. I know you've had about 15 games.
I think you just cut out again.
I lost him again a little bit.
Midnight, I know you played about 15 games. You said, what game modes did you have a chance to play?
Okay, so each map that we played 4 maps, and each map had a designated game mode to it. So, for example, on Biolab, we would only play Team Deathmatch. On the map Riot, we'd only play Hardpoint, and so on and so forth. So I played TDM, Hardpoint, Uplink, and why am I forgetting the other one? What was the other game mode we played?
Uplink, TDM,
Hardpoint.
Capture the Flag, and Hardpoint.
Capture the Flag. I'm sorry, it was Capture the Flag as well.
Yeah.
So. My favorite one that I played, obviously, getting back into Hardpoint, no Hardpoint Ghost it's tough, man, because that was one of my favorite things about Black Ops 2. So getting to play that again was awesome, and just get up in the Hardpoint and get those kills and see how people kind of maneuver around that area. And also Uplink, I mean, people were calling it like murder Quidditch, basically. It was so awesome. Yeah, it was such an awesome game mode. Uplink on Defender. You're grabbing the ball, you're trying to, get the uplink into the satellite and get the points for your team. It's like CTF, but a lot more fun, kind of. So those were definitely my 2 favorites that we played.
So Uplink already in your top 2. Jimmy, comparing kind of Team Deathmatch to CTF to Uplink and Hardpoint. Out of those 4, how did you rank them? Which one did you have the most fun playing on the new
You cut
maps?
off at the end. Out of those 4, or which one do I like?
Which one was the best?
I'd rank them for just what we played there. I would say Hardpoint, just because back in the day, Hardpoint was one of the fastest game types, and now when you add the verticality of Advanced Warfare and the exosuits, Hardpoint's just like it's a game mode on crack. It's insane. I would say Uplink would be my second, and CTF and TDM probably just right there together because I'm pretty familiar with those. But Uplink was more, you almost got to the point where you forgot about slaying as much, and it was more about getting the ball or getting rid of it, juking out your opponent, throwing it at them, stunning them with it, and then taking off again. It was really fun. It was a lot of fun. It was different. It was way different.
Cross snipers, especially in pubs, are not known for their objective play. What was your take on Uplink? I want to kind of get
if
your
you're going
feel
to
for it.
play as a sniper and actually be helpful, even in hardpoint, you are going to have a hard time. Like, you need to either just staying on top of a building or staying near it, keeping people from getting in a doorway, getting in whatever. But more than likely, up close, you're going to be worthless. You're probably going to need to use like your secondary, like the AW1, which is a one-shot pistol, or whatever you can use in that sense. Because obviously, sniping, if you miss in this game, at least the sniper that I used, it's over. Being a bolt action, you have no chance to react.
In your guys' experience with Capture the Flag, were any of those 4 initial maps one that you can see being used in competitive? Are you excited for CTF to be back? What are you thinking, Midnight?
Yeah, definitely. CTF on Ascend, you could definitely tell that it has the classic Call of Duty map style where there's 3 lanes basically going down the map, and there's a couple different vertical points. There's like a bridge that goes across the middle of the map, and there's actually a section that you can jump over or jump on top of, but there's also like kind of like a little alleyway in that section that would be great for running flags. So it definitely, like, that was the map when we played it. I was like, this was designed almost for CTF. So even the hardpoint map that we played, it felt like really good. I whoever designed the maps for Advanced Warfare, man, they did a really good job from the 4 that I saw.
And if you guys could describe kind of the movement in this game to any other first-person shooter title you've ever played, what does this game feel closest to? Jimmy, we'll start with you.
Unreal Tournament.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
Yeah, I've got to go way back, but that's exactly what it feels like to me is Unreal Tournament. It is. Everybody's going to be in for a shock when you get your hands on this and you realize how fast this game is. It is so fast.
Cross, any game that reminds you of Call of Duty Advanced Warfare?
I'm gonna have to steal Jimmy. I really do. That's honestly probably the best way because it seems like you can just bounce, and kind of continue to carry it yourself. It's not as crazy, you can't I forget what it is in God, what is it? Counter-Strike, where you could WASD and you do it in a certain pattern and you can bunny hop, I think is what it's called.
Right.
It kind of gives you that light feeling, but not exactly. Because obviously you have to come back down and you can't keep using it over and over and over, just to a point where it lasts forever. But it's paced. People want to compare it to Titanfall, but to me, Titanfall is kind of slow because of how big the maps are. This is just really small and really aggressive in your face fighting. We were playing 6v6 and it was just constant with movement.
Now, Midnight, was there a strategy that seemed to be working out for you more, whether that was patient play, aggressive play? What would you say that would be a big tip for anyone who's picking it up on day 0?
Traditionally, I like to just run around and get kills, especially in game modes like Hardpoint, just kind of be aggressive. The first thing I wanted to try was a submachine gun that reminded me actually of the MP5 from Call of Duty 4. And I'm like, I want to use that. I want to get in there and I want to do my thing. And it's not that you want to slow down your gameplay, but you want to make sure you're paying attention to what's going on around you because there's so much. It's not just all linear now. You walk into a room and there might be a guy in the corner. No, there might be a guy up here, over here, jumping into the room that you're in. So you definitely have to pay a lot more attention to that. And also the blips on the radar in the upper left-hand corner, when your opponent is jetpacking, unless they have a perk that protects it or silences them, you can see them jumping on your minimap. They don't necessarily have to shoot for you to know that they're there. So paying attention to your surroundings was definitely something that I get used to, and it paid off a little bit for me once I started doing that.
Yeah, as you said, moving and using that exo ability showing up on the minimap, I feel like this is already just something that is lending itself towards the competitive side where we're going to see higher skill gaps. I'm really excited to see who's able to adapt the fastest. Jimmy, let's go to you. World at War had a game mode called War. Advanced Warfare is going to have a game mode called Momentum. Does this bring you back? Is this something you're excited for on the pub side? Do you think it could be competitive?
Oh, absolutely, man. There was nothing better than playing War on World at War, especially when you started to get that momentum and they had the audio background, the guys, hoorah, hoorah. It was by far the most enjoyable game mode from the past Call of Duties. I'm stoked because you want to go play it now, but obviously those games could be hacked and you can't get a full lobby. So the fact that we're getting it and I haven't played it, but if it's the same just with their kind of skew on it or whatever, it's going to be amazing. I don't know There's so many. I mean, there's so many game modes that I would like to see in competitive. Obviously, that comes down to some rigorous testing and other people. But uplink, momentum. I mean, both of those would be just for the fan, for the viewer. They would be a blast to watch.
I can't wait, man. We have so many possibilities
Yeah.
coming up here in November. Cross, when you get the game, what is the one game mode that you'll be searching on day 0?
Probably momentum. I used to be ranked 20 in the world for war.
Oh, wow.
I was really competitive with it when World War. This was like before I ever became Cross or whatever my YouTube name was. I used to play that game endlessly, and I just loved how competitive it was. I played it all the time, just had so many wins. And for snipers, it's like a wet dream because people are all over the objective. Literally, like you have 6 people running toward 1 point. It's kind of like drop zone in a way. People want care packages, they got to go to it to get it, so you can just sit there and you can pick them off, and it's perfect.
Feeds for days. Midnight, before the commercial break, what is the game mode you'll be searching on day 0?
Hardpoint or free for all, or maybe even if they have it up by then, that ranked playlist. I want to see what that's all about.
I'm pumped. Well, guys, when we come back from commercial break, a lot more to talk about. I want to get your thoughts on weapons, of course. We saw a lot of sniper gameplay from Cross. Midnight had a mix, same thing with Chaos Silencer. We'll also be talking exo abilities and perks when we return.